talk about. It's really heartbreaking. Very heavy. If you're weird about the female system and all the workings of how that works, I would stop here and not watch the video. But if it's something that doesn't bother you, then keep on watching if you want to know more about my weird condition with amenorrhea.
Wake up and live my dream. Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh, everyone who didn't believe it, they don't know worth it. I'm gonna try. Work till I die, till I die, till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, 'cause I'm not giving up on my dreams.
Hey guys, welcome back. I'm gonna apologize now from the start because this is going to be a long episode. I was going to load the first part of this episode last week and I chickened out and I got really scared, which is why there isn't an episode last week and why this is so long this week. That was the part that I recorded before my appointment. Now I've had my appointment, I've gotten the doctor's call, and not the best of news. My doctors are confused, they're stumped, they don't know where to go from here. I have been living with this uncertainty my whole entire life and no one has answers. I have been diagnosed with hypothalamic amenorrhea, and basically that just means that my LH-FSH levels are low and they're basically not sending signals to the female organs to tell them what to do. Basically the body's way of saying like your body is not ready to produce a baby, so we're not going to let your organs work properly, because if we do that then your body's not going to support a baby. It's just kind of like if you think about the caveman days back in the day. If you starved your body, then you wouldn't be able to survive and your baby wouldn't be able to survive. So basically my body is under an enormous amount of stress, and that could be from too much exercise, which I feel like in my adult years I haven't overdid it with exercise, but maybe I have. But when I was a kid I would run 10 miles a day just because I love to run, and that might have actually hurt me when I was younger. I do know that I struggle to eat enough throughout the day. I have started the last couple weeks starting to eat more. However, I have to eat a total of 2,500 calories a day in this recovery stage, and that's going to be really hard for me because I can barely eat 1,200 calories a day. I've been trying to track my macros for the last month now, and what I'm discovering is that it is so hard for me to even eat 1,200 calories, so eating 2,500 is going to be so hard, you guys. And I have really bad self-body image, which some people know, some people don't know. And so I'm scared to gain weight. I've been scared my entire life to gain weight. And so I'm scared having to eat more calories in recovery that I'm going to gain a lot of weight and I'm going to have a really tough time with my self-image. So I'm just putting that out there. And I have been super thankful for the amount of support since I posted on Facebook that I am going to be in a recovery. A lot of people have questions and they don't exactly know what I have, which is what this episode is designed to explain. And hopefully this will give more clarity, and I've been very appreciative of the people that have been asking me to send what I have so that they can look it up and understand how to support me, because it is so rare. Even people with hypothalamic amenorrhea, which we call HA, they usually have had their female cycle at one point and lost it, and it's taken them time to get it back, and it's consistency with eating enough for their body and not working out too hard and not depriving their body and not stressing out too much, making sure they're getting enough sleep. So that's going to be a process for me because I struggle with probably all of those things, and I'm just really thankful for the people that are supporting me. And hopefully this episode will give you some answers. The first part's going to be before my appointment. The second part is going to be after I got the call. So the second part's going to be more emotional and me explaining what the doctor really said on the call, what my next steps are. Since that call and since that recording, I have done a lot of research, and I have found that people that are diagnosed with HA there is a recovery process. There is hope that maybe I can turn this around, get my body to work so that hopefully one day I'm able to have my own babies, and hopefully it won't be too late. And so that's what I'm gonna do. So I guess going forward, I just ask not for sympathy or pity. I just ask for support, and that if I gain weight, that no one makes any comments. And it's not that I care what people think, but I do care what I think, and I'm gonna try really hard to get out of my own head. I'm not gonna be able to work out as much, which is gonna be really hard for me. But I want to do things like yoga. I want to do like walks. I want to do hikes. I want to do just like some simple light lifting. I want to try and stay toned even as this weight might gain. I'm still going to try and eat as paleo style as possible, but I'm going to up the carbs because I've been low carb for a couple years now. So I have to make sure that all my stuff is balanced between protein, carbs, and fats. So I am still gonna try and eat a paleo healthy style. I'm not gonna put as much stress on it. So if I wanna eat something else, I'm gonna let my body eat it. Basically, I'm gonna start listening to signals. So when my body starts to tell me I'm hungry, I'm just gonna go eat something, which is gonna be really hard because I get full super fast. It actually took me 3 different sittings to eat dinner the other day, but I refused to not finish it. Usually I'll just like eat half of my dinner and put the rest of it in the fridge, and I'm talking like 1 piece of steak, I'll only be able to eat half of it. So I'm gonna try really hard to like force myself to like finish eating things and to eat more. I also have to cut coffee out. I am kind of dwindling it down to just 1 cup of coffee occasionally. Today I had a cup of coffee, but I haven't actually had a cup of coffee in a few days. So I'm trying to transition to tea because caffeine is another thing that raises your cortisol level, which raises your stress level. So I do have to transition to that, which is really hard because I love coffee. I'm not addicted to coffee. I don't need coffee. I just enjoy it. It's always been what I feel is kind of calming, and I don't struggle with ADHD or anything. I just loved it because the smell, the taste, it just was very calming to me. So that's going to be hard. So yeah, I just ask that you guys support me, and I have appreciated all the hugs. I know a lot of you have no idea what's going on because it's a lot to explain. It's easier just to explain to people over video altogether in person. And I want to get my story out to the world, so hopefully somebody else might have answers. I did join support groups for the book No Period Now What, which is the book that is on the way. So this is hopefully going to be my kind of guide to recovery. This is what I've already been studying, is people that have already gone through this and were actually able to get their female cycles. Getting to see that emotional moment where they get that, you girls, woo! You girls that get your female cycles are so lucky, because I don't know what that's like. I've had it on like when I'm on birth control, but that actually hurts my body to be on that, which I'm on that this month because I'm at high risk for uterine cancer if I don't have one, because basically the uterine wall just grows and grows and grows and it never sheds, which is puts you, that's how cancer happens. And I'm also at high risk for osteoporosis because your bones, they actually like build and crush. Basically the building mechanism in my body is not working, so basically my bones are really like brittle, and it can get worse with age. So I really have to do this. My life depends on it. So I just ask that you guys continue to keep supporting me. Like I said, I don't want any pity. Just love me for the human I am. I hope that this gives you guys more understanding. It's super emotional. I'm so sorry. But there is hope, and I'm going to hold on to that hope because I really would love to have my own kids. I love kids, and I just want to thank all my mommy friends for allowing me to be a part of your kids' lives, because if I am not able to have kids, then at least I've had that. But I mean, there's always adoption, possibility of in vitro, but I'm gonna try and do this on my own, get my body right, get my body healthy, and yeah, okay. I'm just gonna keep kind of crying through this, so I'm gonna go ahead and end this here because this episode is already gonna be long enough. basically, stay tuned for more episodes about my recovery. If you still are confused about things, you can look up hypothalamic amenorrhea. I've also posted links of people that I have been kind of following that have been inspiring me. There's a couple blogs down there of women who have gone through this. And Sarah's Day, her episode of actually getting her cycle back. Ooh, girl. She had me in tears because I can get that moment and how like precious that is. So ladies who do have it, be thankful for it, because that means that your body's healthy, and it means that you don't have as many risks, and that means you're healthy. So if you don't have it, you're not alone. There is a Facebook group that is called No Period Now What support group. You can always join that. Feel free to follow my journey. I don't know what's going to happen since I've never had one, but we will see, and lots of prayers. All right, let's get into the episode, you guys. I know that I've been really quiet. I am so sorry about that. I literally had camping, and then I went to Vegas for my business convention, and then there was something every single weekend, and the weekdays I was working, so I never got time to film the content. But the whole time I was really brainstorming like all these different things that I want to tell you guys about and how I wanted to tell you guys about them. So we're going to switch gears a little bit today. I was actually looking up, so I have this condition I've had it my entire life. I didn't really know it until I was 16 that I had something that was super crazy abnormal that probably like hardly anybody in the population really has, but people have it. And I have constantly gone back and forth stressing about this, which probably is not good for it at all. But I actually was watching some YouTube videos of ladies who have the same condition as me, and I was really inspired by their stories and the fact that they were able to share them. Like, I started tearing up and getting really emotional and crying because I get it, and I totally get where that feeling comes from. So it really inspired me to talk about my story with this illness, kind of whatever it is, this condition, and to, I don't know, take my YouTubers on a journey with me. So we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and this is gonna get kind of away from my goofy like quirkiness, and hopefully I'm gonna try not to be emotional. But this is going to be kind of a weird topic, and for the guys out there, they're going to probably be like, well, this is really dumb and I'm not into this. So that's totally fine. Maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe your daughters or wives or sisters or mothers or somebody's gone through this, and you'll have a little bit more clarity on it. For anybody that's really grossed out about the whole female cycle thing, maybe it's not a topic for you. Even I get super weird about different words and the way that the female cycle works. I get really weirded out by it, but that's because I am slightly abnormal, and there's a very small percentage of the population that has what we call amenorrhea, which is my condition. So if you're interested in hearing more about my story and what amenorrhea is, and going forward kind of the things that I'm going to put some focus on, keep on watching. If it's something that you think is going to gross you out or be totally weirded out, then maybe it's not the video for you. But again, I'm going to try not to use any words that would be weird or anything like that. Okay, so what is amenorrhea? There's primary and there's secondary amenorrhea. I'm going to be 30 in December. So when I was first diagnosed with amenorrhea, the old system was if you didn't start your female cycle by the time you were 16, then you had primary amenorrhea, which is just completely never starting your female cycle, which is super abnormal. Now the standard is if you don't start it by 13 and 15, depending on where your body is developed at, determines your level of primary amenorrhea. Plain and simple, I have primary amenorrhea because I'm going to be 30 in December, and I've never started my female cycle on my own. But when I was on birth control, I did. So my body has the capability to do so, it just doesn't want to do it. We even tried training my body and staying on it for a year. No go. It was every month, perfectly fine. Afterwards, nothing. And then there's secondary amenorrhea, which is when your period, oh, sorry, I said that word. When your female cycle starts and it goes away. And I was watching different videos where it was really emotional for those ladies who were kind of in their mid to late 20s, and they would have it and then it would just stop right around the time they were deciding to have kids. And basically this can mean that you're not ovulating. You might be, but you might not be. And typically if you're getting those ovulating symptoms, it's just your body's way of trying to ovulate, but your body actually not fully going through the process. So as you can tell, for a female, this can be a very emotional kind of ordeal and kind of an emotional situation to go through, especially if you're someone like myself that would love to have kids and you're kind of getting to that age where it's like kids need to happen now or never. And I would like to say that it's still gonna start, but 30 years old's pretty late in life. So just some little backstory for anybody else that might be going through this. I've been Googling, trying to find answers, and I've had a lot of questions, and the sucky thing is you Google this and you Google all the conditions and symptoms, and there's really no answers out there. And it's really because this is so rare, there isn't really a definitive answer for what's going wrong or how to fix it. Basically, you have to go off of the experiences of the girls who are going through it. So I'm going to talk about my experience. I started going to the doctor when I was 16 for this condition because obviously it wasn't normal. I was doing track and cross country. I did volleyball, basketball. So I was basically doing sports all year round. I don't really get the feeling of hunger, so I'm really bad about eating like 3 meals a day and snacks and whatever else they tell you to eat. I eat really healthy, but I probably just don't eat quite enough, and that has been the way I've been since I've been a teenager. Basically, it's like if you're not hungry, it's hard to force yourself to eat because you're literally like, I can't even stomach the idea of eating right now because I feel full. And so that was kind of something I struggled with as a kid. And I remember a lot of people saying, well, that's like a sign of like anorexia. And I was like, no, I don't have that. It's not that I'm choosing not to eat. It's just that I'm really not hungry. So anyway, if you don't eat enough, this is one of the side effects of amenorrhea. Being super active and almost too active is also a sign of what would cause amenorrhea. Sometimes if you are stressing out too much, not sleeping properly. So there's a lot of things that go into what would cause amenorrhea, and kind of the things, some other things that could also cause it is your pituitary gland. There's also another gland in your brain that sends signals to your female area and tells it like what to do. So sometimes if there's a connection issue with the pituitary gland and this other gland and it's not sending the accurate information, that can also cause it. Sometimes if your female area is not formed correctly, or maybe you're missing a female area, whether it be like an ovary or uterus or fallopian tube or anything down there, that can cause amenorrhea. If there's a blockage or it was like not formed correctly, that can cause it. PCOS, so if you have cysts on your ovaries and they're of the PCOS standard, which means the cysts are really big, that can cause it. So there's a lot of things that can cause it. So going to the doctor when I was 16, I already had to start getting ultrasounds, and that's pretty crazy to have at 16. And I also had to go through the whole female, you know how like when you go to your female appointments, it's like every 2 years. Mine was every 6 months. And I had to get an ultrasound every single time. I had to get blood tests every single time just to check my levels, because it could also mean that you're also having a low level of, you know, progesterone and, you know, all that stuff. Anyway, everything was normal. So for me, it was really frustrating at 16 being like an abnormal female that wasn't going through all the normal processes. Like my mother literally taught us like what was going to happen, you know, all the ins and outs, plus you learn it in health class, and I just didn't start. And so it, you know, you kind of feel like, for me, I felt really off. Like I was already going through a lot with going through abuse as a kid, but then going through this condition, I just felt so abnormal. And I felt like I really didn't fit or belong because I wasn't going through some of the same things. I couldn't relate to what all my friends were going through. And, you know, even though it's such like, women get really, they're like, I'm jealous that you're going through that. Like, I wish I could trade you spots like that. I wish I could take that away for you and you have what I have, because I would love to know for sure that I'd be able to have kids one day. I would love to feel normal, and I've lived my entire life feeling like, what the heck is wrong with me? And not knowing if my dream of getting to be a mom and having my own children is ever gonna happen. Anyway, so back to going through all these testing, I would have to do that like every 6 months. And I'm telling you, everything was normal. So fast forward to going to adulthood, I got so frustrated with female doctors. There was times where I'd go into appointments and they would just look at the computer screen and say, oh, everything's accurate and normal. Like your blood tests are always normal. Your ultrasounds always come back normal. Everything's normal. So, I'll just put in here that you're good and everything's still good. And I got really frustrated because I kind of felt like my doctors were giving up on me, and I wasn't ready to give up. I was still ready to fight to figure out answers because I wanted to be normal. So then I started denying going back to doctors. If I've been to them, I didn't want to go back to them because I didn't want to be disappointed. So my primary doctor at the time was getting ready to go on maternity leave, and she was so frustrated because I refused to go into a female appointment because I would not go back to a doctor I'd already been to. And unfortunately, when you live in a small area, your options are pretty narrowed down. And she was like, well, I can recommend a doctor for you in the big city, which is an hour and a half away, which I now work at, but then didn't I work at? Anyway, and I was like, yeah, I mean, that's always an option, like when I get time. And then a week before she went on maternity leave, she goes, oh my gosh, there's a doctor coming up from Southern California. Can I get you an appointment with him? And I was like, let's do it. Never been to him. He's from a different area, so maybe he'll have some like more insight. Plus it's a bigger area down there, so maybe he's actually come across this before. So I scheduled an appointment. Literally the best doctor in the whole world. He explains the whole entire female anatomy. Like, I haven't heard it 100 times, but understanding like what all these different illnesses that people were throwing at me. Oh, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. And so I'm like soaking up all these things that I could have, and I would literally ask him, like, is it possible I have this? Is it possible I have this? And he would show me with a picture and a diagram and explain why I don't have it, because this is what it would look like. So it was really nice having some of those answers. And he looked back at all my results and he was like, it's so crazy because your charts, everything is normal. Like, you're super healthy. Everything's normal. All your systems, your levels, everything is normal. And he goes, so I'm gonna put you through an MRI test, which is to test the brain to make sure everything's working properly and sending its, signals and all that. And let me tell you, I never want to go through an MRI test again. I don't know if any of you have ever gone through an MRI test. If you have, let me know in the comments your experience. But like, it made me feel like I was gonna go crazy because it has like this drip sound. So you're like laying in this thing and you go under that big like dome looking thing, and all you hear is like drip, drip, and it goes on for like an hour. Wanted to rip the hair out of my head. So hopefully I don't ever have to do that again. But everything, guess what? Normal. So at least we know my brain is working totally normal, right? So I've got that going for me. Maybe not my female, but So anyway, everything goes normal, and he's pretty much at a standstill where he's like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, well, apparently none of my other doctors ever got it either, and I don't get it. So then he was like, all right, well, I know that you hate this, but we're gonna have to try the birth control thing. So I tried it, and I had one, right? And then he goes, well, at least we know that your body is capable of having it, and it like tells you. So then he was like, let's try doing it for a year and see if we can like kind of train your body what to do. Well, in the time that I was going through this process, my work changed insurances. And so then I moved to a different place, and funny thing is, all the female doctors they were trying to send me were ones I've been to before. Like, they've switched from the one doctor's office to that one, and I was like, I'm not going to any of them. And they're like, but you need to. And I'm like, no. So I didn't go for like 4 or 5 years, and now I finally was able to switch insurances back to the old place. So now I'm gonna go back to that doctor and hopefully get some clear answers. I'm super nervous because I don't know like what's gonna happen, and I don't know what's changed in my body because it's been like 4 or 5 years since I've been to the female doctor, which is really not good. And so there's a lot of fears going into this, but also because I really want some answers for the amenorrhea condition, and I'm hoping that my appointment on the 9th will give me some more clarity. And so for maybe some of you ladies out there that have the same condition, that have a lot of questions, I hope that I can answer them for you. But I have watched videos of girls that have gone through this. They had the secondary amenorrhea, so they had theirs and then it disappeared because of, you know, being overactive or stress or whatever. And then they were able to get it to come back by eating properly, getting enough sleep, not stressing out, and like really allowing their body to like just work at its own level and its own course. With that said, it's really hard to do in my life because I work a 40-hour week job that's an hour and a half one way away. So that's like 3 hours minimum driving. And then on top of that, I have my business, and I've also got, you know, YouTube and you guys. So it's really going to be about balancing my entire life and also making sure that I'm working out, because I'm not happy when I'm not working out. And when I start to gain any amount of weight, I get really stressed out and I start to like really beat myself down. So it's going to be really important for me to make sure that I'm getting into the gym every day, but that I'm not overdoing it. So I've kind of made a goal that I'm going to go to the gym or go running out on the road for 15 to 30 minutes and then do some kind of lifting. Like one day I'll do arms, one day I'll do abs, one day I'll do legs. So I'm not overdoing it. But that's my plan going forward. I'm also counting my macros, but I'm also trying to eat as organic and paleo style as possible. And then I'm gonna ask my doctor about getting supplements for, you know, my estrogen and progesterone and whatever levels, to kind of help get my levels, make sure that I'm getting enough of those. I know my tests keep saying that they're there, but maybe having some of those supplements to kind of help my body have enough of that every day will hopefully help. So that's kind of my plan going forward, and to start making sure that I'm going to sleep and that I'm going to sleep at the same time every day, getting up at the same time every day, and try and keep as routine as possible. It's going to be imperative if I want to train my body on what to do, because I think right now every day is so different. I think my body's just so confused, and it's been like that. I've always overdid it. I've always put way too much on my plate, and then I end up just stressing out. And I think if I take a step back and really allow myself to do that, then hopefully my body will start to do its thing. The other thing is stressing out to move to California. I've been doing that since I was 16, so you know, I feel like that kind of says a lot in of itself. So I'm not going to stress out about moving now. Like, if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen, and it's going to be really stress-free. But at this point, I just really want to start putting focus on having a more healthy lifestyle, and just kind of have a really put together life for the first time in my life, have some stability and some routine where hopefully I can be more at ease. So that's my plan going forward. Again, I hope this wasn't too like grossed out or weird. I just really want to share my story, and all these other girls on YouTube that are going through either primary amenorrhea or secondary amenorrhea. I just want to thank you so much, because I've watched probably a dozen different videos. So I want to thank you for sharing your story and inspiring me to share mine. I think it's a whole nother level of strength for a female to really talk about what they're going through, and to explain it, because you guys are helping me. And who knew that you making your video to tell your story would help somebody and inspire them. But when you see a girl cry because she got her cycle, you guys have no idea. Like, if you've never gone through this, you have no idea how the emotion that goes through feeling normal and knowing that you're healthy and knowing that you can have children. If you haven't had your children, the scariest thing in the world is to not have that. So especially for females, we're on a time limit, you know, like I really wanted my kids between 28 and 30, and here I am turning 30. So yeah, hopefully I did just hear some stories of people starting theirs when they were in their late 20s, so there's still some chances. And another thing I didn't add that I think will also help, and it's kind of a plan going forward, is when I went to the chiropractor when I was 22, he told me, he looked at me and he goes, "Are you sure that you're only 22?" And I'm like, "Pretty sure." And I was like, "Want me to show my license or my birth certificate or something?" And he goes, "That's really weird." And I was like, "Why is that weird?" And he goes, "Because your bones are at like a 16-year-old level. Like they're not even done like developing." And I was like, "Well, that's great." So I think that honestly my whole entire body has just kind of been behind. So hopefully I'll get some more clarified answers going forward, but I would like to stay going to the chiropractor at least once every 3 months to kind of adjust my spine, especially where your female areas are connected to those nerves in your spine, to make sure that area is getting adjusted. They also have massage in my chiropractor place, and my friend does massage there, and so I want to make sure I'm doing that just for the pure like de-stressing and making sure that my blood flow is all good. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe, and join the tribe. And stay tuned for more updates on my appointment and kind of taking this journey with me. And it's going to be emotional. It's going to be exciting. And any prayers and blessings are kindly appreciated as I really try and make this long time dream come true. And any tips that you guys have ever heard, or if you've personally ever gone through this, let me know in the comments what has worked for you. And I hope that even my story will help a future person, especially if you've ever been almost 30 years old and going through this. Hey guys, so just an update. I told you guys I would update you after my doctor appointment. Again, I haven't posted this episode or this video yet, so I'm still don't know if I'm going to post it just because it's so scary for me to post, and it's like really like personal part of my life. I'm actually pretty much an open book, and a lot of people around me know about my I guess kind of battle with amenorrhea. I'm going to be 30 in 3.5 months, and I've never had a female cycle on my own when I have birth control and the extra estrogen than I do. So we tried to train my body for a year to do what it's supposed to do, and it didn't. And basically my biggest fear in all of this is obviously cancer is a huge fear of mine, and without me having a cycle, I'm at high risk for that. And I also think that getting told that I wouldn't be able to have kids would be the biggest heartbreaking news of my life. And more importantly, I guess it's really not more importantly, but something that I've always wanted to do is just be able to have kids naturally, and not be able to struggle, and not be able to have to deal with, I'm already getting emotional, guys. Not be able to have to struggle to have kids, and be able to do kind of the normal, natural thing that humans and women are supposed to be able to do. However, with my fears, it took me years before I finally went back to a female appointment, which is stupid on my part, you guys. Make sure you guys are going to your checkups and appointments. It is important, and this is something I'm learning as an adult, how important it is, but you start to see the people around you get sick, and you realize how important it really is. Anyway, so I finally went to my female appointment. It's the annual one that every woman is supposed to go to. They ended up doing blood work and discussing my condition. So what I have is hypothalamic amenorrhea. Basically, it's just there is two areas of your brain that communicate with your ovaries to tell them what to do to start your cycle, and both of mine are functioning, but for some reason one of them is causing low estrogen level and not telling my ovaries what to do and not giving them enough signals, so they're just not going through the whole process. But everything is normal. Like I have all the female parts, I have eggs, and I've had multiple different tests. I've had MRIs. Everything in my brain is working properly. It's just this one little area that's not sending enough messages to my ovaries, which is causing low estrogen. Typically, people who have my type of amenorrhea, because there's literally a bunch of different amenorrhea types that you can get, but typically the people that have my type of amenorrhea usually at some point have had female cycles and then they go away. And typically the reason that they go away is overactivity. So a lot of Olympic athletes will get this. People with eating disorders have gotten this. High stress levels, things like that. So yeah, typically people that have those things will get hypothalamic amenorrhea, and then typically later on they will get their periods back. So for me, it's really confusing. Even the doctors are confused. He's reached out to his colleagues. A lot of different things have been going on. A lot of different tests have been going on to try and figure out why this is happening, but there really is no answer because it's so rare. So anybody else who has this issue, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear your guys' story, because this is something so rare. I have watched YouTube videos of people who have this condition. Most of them get their female cycles later in life. So yeah, I hope I have one of those stories, but being almost 30 and not having a sign of it. So what we did is we did blood tests, and we compared my blood test results from 6 years ago, the last time I went to an appointment, with my blood tests that I took earlier this week. And basically what we found is my levels were exactly the same. So nothing had changed in 6 years. And basically I just wasn't producing enough estrogen. I asked him if there was a way to get estrogen pills, and he said no. Basically that's when they bring birth control into the equation, because birth control is estrogen. So they have me on that for a month so that I can have a female cycle, and that's because when your uterine wall doesn't shed, that's when you can get cancer, because it just builds and builds and builds, and that's what causes cancer. So basically I have to go through that process. And then the next step is that I'm going to go see a specialist after I've gone through this month and have gone through this whole process. I'm going to go see a specialist that is a specialist in fertility. And that's mostly to answer all kind of questionable things, to see what maybe they can see. And they'll be able to answer my question of whether I'll be able to have kids, and maybe be able to elaborate on what's really going on with my body, and if there's a chance that there's anything they can do to kind of push my body into the right direction. He thought originally at my appointment that there was this pill that would encourage my ovaries to do what they're supposed to do, but because it's actually part of the brain messages to the ovaries, he's not so sure that those pills would work. So now we're just kind of like waiting in a month-long waiting game, and we're gonna get more answers. Now for the hard stuff, and I will start crying because I've literally been crying off and on, and I haven't been able to really like vent this out, and I haven't been able to really cry it out. I've had moments in the car where I've tried to cry it out, and obviously getting off the phone, it was really stressful because I had a meeting at my work, and I'm in a room full of like 50 people, and I get this call on our break, so I was really happy that it was on our break time. And you know, I'm come out of it obviously clearly upset because it wasn't what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that I would be able to have kids, and that there was a sign I'd be able to be a normal female with a normal female cycle. FYI, you guys are so lucky. I get told I'm lucky all the time, but you guys are the lucky ones. I would kill to be in your position to have just a normal cycle and to feel normal and to know that I can have, there's a chance that I can have kids and just not have that big question mark. And I know there's a lot of people in my life that the doctors told them they'd never be able to have kids, and they did, and that gives me hope. But a lot of them at some point got their female cycle, and so that's where I'm at, where they had one at one point in their life when I have not. Yeah. So basically, I get off the phone reminding me that the medical field and technology are constantly changing, and who knows what's going to happen in the next 5 years with the advancements of medicine. Maybe in 2 years there will be something that does cure what I have, but because of what I have is so rare, it is so scary not to know. And maybe there is something out there. I don't know. But basically, at this point, because my system is just a big question mark, and because my levels haven't changed, there isn't a sign that I will be able to have kids on my own. I'm going to show some true emotion, you guys, because this is really hard for me. That I won't be able to have kids on my own right now, and he hopes that when I go to the specialist that this will change. But basically, a lot of insurances don't cover infertility costs. So, in order right now for me to be able to have kids, I would have to pay everything out of pocket. I wouldn't be able to do having kids naturally. I would have to do like in vitro and all that and go through that process. And I just feel like for me, I'm feeling really like broken and defective, and I don't know why it happened to me, because like a lot of the females in my family are very fertile, and they all got their periods like in the earlier ages, and I just don't know why I have to be the different one. But having kids is a big dream of mine, and wanting to have kids naturally was a big dream of mine, and to have that taken away is like the hardest thing. So I'm just trying to remain optimistic that the fertility specialist is going to have some different answers, and I'm not in a relationship right now, but to know that my chances are a lot slimmer, and I'm already closing in on 30, so I'm already closing in on that age gap. Plus, we don't know with my condition because there's really not a lot of information, but I could go into premenopause. I also have to watch my bone health, because now I'm at high risk for bone issues because I'm not producing enough of the elements that's supposed to be good for bone growth. So there's a lot of issues that go into it, and yeah, I'm just being optimistic. I hope that the fertility specialist will have better answers, and maybe that this pill will help that, and that hopefully I'll be able to start my cycle on my own and not have to have all the pills and estrogen. And I'm gonna put these back on because I'm struggling here. And I'm gonna live in a small town, so yeah, that's kind of where everything's at. I am trying to be optimistic that the fertility specialist will have a better answer for me, maybe some clarity, and I'm gonna keep doing a lot of the tips that other people have talked about with amenorrhea on YouTube and different blogs that I've watched, and things that they've done to be able to get theirs, and more specifically how people with hypothalamic amenorrhea have been able to overcome it. And my hope is that the next time I make a video like this, that we're gonna have some better answers, and hopefully I'm normal and my body does its normal thing. But right now there's just a bunch of question marks. My heart is a little broken right now, and haven't really talked a lot about it with a lot of people, but the people that I have talked to have been so extremely supportive, and I'm so thankful for the people I have in my life. A lot of people that have been in my life, they know how much this means to me and how important this is to me. Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what's gonna happen. All I can do is try and be optimistic, cry it out. So I'm really not feeling good today. I don't know if it's the side effects of the birth control that I have to be on for the next month, but I have been so sick the last 2 days, and I had started the birth control yesterday and today, so it would make sense that it's just side effects. But basically, I feel exhausted, I feel sick, so I'm gonna go lay down, cry it out, kind of just stick with myself, and yeah, hopefully the next time I talk to you guys, I'll have better news. Alright, if you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe, and join the tribe. Normally these videos are actually pretty fun. I try to post, really encouraging and positive things, but this is just the more personal, tougher side of my life. It's just more about me. But honestly, if anybody else is struggling with this, I want to tell my story because it is so rare, and maybe somebody out there has gone through something similar, and maybe they will have answers that my doctor hasn't tried. But if anybody out there struggles with this and they've made it to their 30s with no female cycle, or even their late 20s, and they never had one on their own, definitely comment below, DM me. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, all my links are down below, and please let me know your story and your experiences and what you did to overcome it. I think that's more or less why I'm opening up right now, because I really, really want answers, and I think having the support of other people going through this is going to be really encouraging, because I'm really struggling right now, and I could just use some encouragement from people that have gone through this. So if you've gone through this, definitely let me know down below, any level of it, because you're gonna have different tips, tricks, and whatever to kind of help through this. But I definitely would love to hear stories of people with amenorrhea who have been able to have babies, or people who have been able to get their female cycles to start. I would love to hear all those tips and all those stories, and nothing is going to hurt me. It's only going to encourage me and keep me positive and going. So definitely let me know down below if this is something that you have gone through, and even if you haven't, you can always feel free to send me encouraging stories. Please don't think that you guys can't say anything around me, that it's gonna hurt my feelings or anything like that. I love to hear all of your stories. So definitely, if you want encouragement, I also want to encourage other people that are going through even just infertility issues in general. I definitely am an open ear. Hopefully I can spread some encouragement or positivity. I am very lucky that they haven't rolled out in vitro being a possibility. It just sucks because I won't be able to do it naturally if that's the case. And then of course insurance doesn't cover that, which is really frustrating. I feel like insurance should cover that, because it's not our fault that we were born a little different. So I think that's really sad. But anyway, that's that. And hopefully the next time that I talk to you guys, I won't be an emotional mess that's bawling. And hopefully we'll have some better news. All right, bye Dazzle Tribe. Thank you so much for sticking this out with me. Thank you for listening to me babble and vent. You guys are amazing. And hopefully I can hear some stories, some advice. I'm pretty much down to try everything. I'm gonna start trying to stress less. So if you guys see that I'm not posting videos as often, I just want you to know why, because this is what I've been trying to focus on the last few weeks.
I just transferred all of my business stuff onto a special website, and I'll have those links down below as well. And that's just so that my business now runs a lot smoother. I don't actually have to take 2 hours of like invoicing and numbering and pulling pieces. Now everything is done through my website, so that's going to save me stress on the business side of everything. It also will invoice and do the shipping and everything, and I'll just print out the shipping labels, so it's going to be super, super easy. So that's going to take stress out of the business side. I'm working on trying to get a routine with working out, because that also helps my endorphins. It helps keep me happy without overworking out, because if I overwork out, then I'm just going to make this worse. I'm trying to make sure that I'm eating a proper, well-balanced diet. I think I already have been doing that the last few years. I've been really, really good about eating a lower carb, hardly any sugars, just trying to eat like more whole foods and natural foods. And I guess my only struggle is I need to learn to eat more, because I will get so busy and forget to eat. So now my focus is just making sure that I'm like snacking throughout the day, and that I'm like constantly eating, making sure I'm drinking enough water and getting enough sleep. So hopefully with all those things, let me know what vitamins that you guys take, what helps. Really any advice, I'm kind of open to it. So all right, bye guys, and I'll see you hopefully next Sunday. I'll have another episode out. Hopefully it's not like 2 weeks later, but the reason why is because I have been trying to adjust some things in my life, and I would like to get back to doing Motivation Monday, Beauty Bit Wednesday, Fit Friday, and I do have a bunch of video clips for all 3 of those mini episodes. It's just a matter of getting it edited, getting it uploaded to the computer, and then getting it uploaded to YouTube. Unfortunately, I have a dying laptop, and I do all my filming off of my phone, and my phone is filling up with videos for you guys. So I just want you guys to know that I have content coming. It's just my computer is just really, really slow, so it takes like almost an entire day just to edit a 10-minute video to get it uploaded for you guys. So just know that they're coming, and just know that this is not the end. There's going to be a lot more content, and hopefully you guys are down with my journey about what happens with this. And I try to keep it the least amount of weird as I can, because obviously for any people that watch this that are weird about that kind of stuff, I don't want them not to be on my channel, but I do want to put my story out there for those that could use the encouragement, or maybe they can encourage me. Alrighty, done babbling. I swear I'm done. Alright, hit like, subscribe, join the tribe if you haven't already. Lots of good stuff to come. This is a baby stage page, but there's going to be so much more content and adventures, and life is just getting started. So if you want to follow my journey, definitely, you know what to do. And let me know in the comments that you turned on your notifications so that you can be the next notification shout out. Today I'm going to give a shout out to all the people that are struggling with infertility and amenorrhea. Shout out to you guys for, sticking it out. I know it's hard, but there's other people out there, and we got you. I think that we definitely need to build a support system, because we have something that is definitely rare. All right, guys, love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.